summary. First half, we were more open than a porn star's legs. Second half, youngsters came on and were brighter and showed what we were doing. I just want to touch on something Ariane said about pre-season training and the heat and everything. DIDDEMS. Have the £100,000 a week players got to run twice a day in the heat? For them. And then go back to their 5-star hotels and get the masseuses and the food and the sports medicine. Listen, they have the heat, yes. We were out there for 2 weeks. You'd think they'd acclimatise. And the one thing I will say about Ange, who, like I said, are still back, pre-season, surely it's the time to try different tactics or different passages of play or different ways of playing. Like, this is the time to experiment with maybe a 3 at the back or maybe being a bit more defensive when we're under pressure. And we just weren't. Listen, we all waxed lyrical about the youngsters in the previous games when they came on and done well in the team. And it was all, oh my God, this looks so well. The club, we're going to shine. And then we come up against class, and it's, oh, you do know it's a pre-season friendly. It is only pre-season. It's all about the fitness. The way we change it to suit our narrative is a bit ridiculous. I do understand that it is mainly to get the fitness, but it's so much more than fitness right now. 2 weeks away from the season, taking Richarlison out there when he's not fit, when he could have been training at home and rehabilitating.
Yeah.
It's just that was an eye opener when we came up against serious class. That we shows how badly we need changes.
What do you think? What do you think's going on with James Maddison at the moment, Brian?
Listen, I wanted him. I wanted Eze over Maddison last summer. He started off on fire. He was incredible, but I can't work out now if he's still trying to get form back from his injury. If the formation, the way we're playing, flooding the midfield is taking his space away. I don't know if he's fit for this system because of the way we play and we're flooding the midfield. But it's not looking good for him, is it? I have been really, apart from his build up to the Hearts goal in the opening pre-season that we got to see, I think he's way off the pace. What about you guys?
Yeah, well, Luke, I was going to ask, what do you think about Maddis?
Well, Brian, would you start him against Leicester?
I really wouldn't. I put a poll out, Luke, saying, would you start him over Maddison on Twitter? Overwhelmingly, Bergvall is ahead of him, but a few people are saying actually Bergvall plays in the number 8 or is his best position, so they're playing both. But I really don't know. I mean, Maddison, hopefully when we play next week against Bayern Munich, or is it next week or the week? Yeah, it's next week, isn't it?
Next week, yeah.
Hopefully being back home a week, whatever, he'll have a better performance. But I think there's a lot of players at the moment that've got a question mark over their heads as we go into this season, from what we're seeing.
And Brian, sorry, I know you mentioned about the attempting the 3 at the back, perhaps trying to change something up because it's pre-season.
Yep.
Do you think perhaps this wouldn't be likely to happen because Romero is away, Van der Ven's is away? Do you think that plays a role in us not being able to really?
Do you know what, Luke? Where I was going with that, back 3, I just don't think he's going to experiment anyway. But it was just something. But what I would really wanted him to see, and what I said last season as well, is when we're under the cosh, just drop back for 5-10 minutes, absorb the pressure, get a hold of the game, and then go back to what you're doing. That's what I really wanted to see, because people said his second season you start seeing changes, and we still might. And like I said, I will say right now, I'm still fully behind Ange. All these people that are saying out, they're entitled to their opinion. I believe if people turn on Ange, they should look upstairs, not at the manager. But I wanted to see some kind of, right, I've understood what's gone on here. So, just some kind of tactical thing to say, okay, we can see a change there. We can see. The front line look absolutely abysmal, don't they? They look absolutely abysmal right across the line. Whoever is there, we have looked the shadow of ourselves. There's just so much that needs addressing, doesn't it? And I think this game has shown it a bit more.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see when it comes to, well, starting next week, I guess, at home against Bayern, whether we are able to, in the first half, get more control of the game. If he's able to find a way to circumvent that 5-men block that they put on the press that they put on us. Because then also I'm really fascinated to see what happens at Leicester, whether Leicester will, as a promoted team playing at home, kind of really go for it, which I think will allow spaces for us, or whether they'll do what a lot of sides did last season and play the kind of deep block, which I think I do wonder. I wonder or worry about the front line, especially against deep blocks, actually, because I think when there's space to get in behind and get to the byline, we always score a lot of goals like that. But against those deep block sides, I do worry.
Yeah, I mean, what you got to look at as well, Barnaby, when you look at it, is Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest tended to do that quite a bit, didn't he? And that he can play expansive football, but on the home opener, and we don't know if Leicester are going to have points deducted. Are they going to say, right, let's just try and get as many points on the board as we can before we go all gun ho? It is going to be a tough one. And I agree with you, Barnaby. Against low block teams, we saw that we struggled when people started working out what we're doing. Like I said, I think the most important thing, even forget how we play against Bayern, we're back home now. This week there has to be some incomings. There has to be some incomings, because we've shown how badly we need a striker, how badly we need a winger. And I have to say, Luke, you are absolutely spot on. If Guehi goes to Newcastle, I would say Eze is done, because they'll just say, right, now you're paying the whole 60 up front, no breaks, no nothing. That's how you're doing it, and we won't do it. So Guehi going to Newcastle, I think, has absolutely huge ramifications for Eze coming to Spurs.
I've kind of spent the summer thinking that Spurs are going to have to pay it exactly how it is anyway. I think it's just like Spurs are trying to get their ducks in a row for that. Yeah,
but Barnaby, we've known this for a year. We've known this for a year that this is the deal. Bayern Munich wanted to release. What did they do? That's a release fee. Off you go. Because they wanted him. They're like, right, we need. And this is for Vincent Kompany.
To be fair, wasn't that just because Chelsea put it in as well? I think Chelsea and
Bayern
both went for it. Yeah.
Maybe, but we need this player desperately. When you've known for a year that this is the structure of the payment, and you've tried, I mean, obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so it could be advancing, it could be negotiating, but if this is a player you fundamentally want, then you go and get, and Eze walks into this football team, literally walks in, could have a huge impact on this football club, and we'll see if we get him over the line. He's my number one. Hopefully we get it done, but it's looking more and more unlikely for me.
Before I let you go, Brian, how did you feel about that Solanke rumour yesterday?
Please, God, no. Well, for anyone that's going on about that, apparently we couldn't make transfers or do deals because of the Euros and the Copa America. Yet we're going back for a player that wasn't at the Copa. It's got all the signings of when we were looking for a manager for 75 days, and then we went and got back and got one that was available all along. And then I've heard that we're waiting for Bournemouth to get a replacement. That's what we're doing. As a big club at Tottenham, we're waiting for Bournemouth to get a replacement. When Manchester United wanted Berbatov and Carrick, where we were the smaller club, did they go, oh, let's wait for Spurs to get the replacement, or did the big club go and pound? I don't want him. I still... If you're going to pay 65, let's just say that is the fee that Bournemouth are wanting, and that's it. Why not pay the extra 3 million and go get Eze? Why not spend the extra and go get Gyökeres? What? I just don't know. Listen, if he fits the system, and people think that, people are entitled to their opinion. But this is to go back and get a player when we were told that you can't get deals done because of the Euros and the Copa, because that's where our targets are, and then go back and get one that we could have got all along and could have been on this tour. It speaks volumes to me.
Okay, mate. Brilliant. Thanks again for calling in, Brian. Really appreciate it.
Always. Look, great job. Great day for you, buddy. Good to see you.
Cheers, Brian.
No worries. And as always, Levy out.
There we go. Never in doubt. Levy